Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Cruise Control.
Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
Hello and welcome to Cruise Control. It's that time again to buckle up and head out and check out what's going on in the automotive world. And in order to help me do that, Les Jackson is along. Hey, Les, how you doing?
Hey, good, Fred. How about you? We're enjoying some lovely unsummer-like weather. So
Yep, that is absolutely true. And what else is unsummer-like is there's a lot of reveals, a lot of pricing information on new vehicles, and a couple of good studies. So we're going to jump right in, and we're going to talk about the J.D. Power Tech Experience Index. Of course, technology is the big thing that kind of separates old cars from new cars. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. They took a look at it, and I think we will agree with a lot of the studies.
Well, I think so. And, we get to see the technology all the time, so we're much more used to it than people they're trading in their 8-year-old car and get tech shock when they get in. But
Tech shock. I like that. Tech shock.
Yeah. GMC delivers the Sierra EV Denali Edition 1, so we'll talk about that. That's quite a machine.
Quite a machine at quite a price. And then we're going to talk about the Mercedes GLC plug-in. What's unique about this is it gets almost 60 miles of all-electric range when you plug it in. And this is a trend I think we're going to see a lot more of with these plug-in hybrids getting 60, maybe, who knows, even at some point 100 miles of range. Yeah. And that is real usable. When you think about it, what kind of range did some of the first EVs have? 125, 150, right?
Even around 100 for some, like 110.
Yeah.
And VW prices out the ID Buzz van. This is very cool.
Yeah, well, I think people have been salivating for this, an all-electric EV vehicle, so we will talk about that. Plus, something completely different than that, well, it's the 60th anniversary Ford Mustang, and good-looking vehicle. We're going to tell you how they're celebrating the 60th anniversary of the original pony car, so we'll tell you about that, and Les, on top of that, we're going to have a review of the Elantra N. This is quite the performance vehicle. I got some time behind the wheel. They have gone to great detail to make this a great performance vehicle. It's got a couple of unique features too. I was surprised to see. So I think it's another hit for Hyundai. So we'll talk about that and more when we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine with Fred Staub and Les Jackson. Keep it buckled up. We got plenty to get to.
Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. We're going to pop over to the J.D. Power offices,
Pop on over.
wherever they are, and
Troy,
but we
Michigan.
really love talking about their surveys because they're just the top. They're the
Yes.
best at it, covering the auto industry. And this time it's the highest and lowest ranks for overall technology innovation. Okay. Um, which works, as Fred said, works well for some manufacturers and not well for others.
That's true.
And we've experienced all of them.
They call it the
Hyundai, by the way, is the top, and I go along with that.
They call it the Tech Experience Index, or TXI.
Right, right.
And, they talk about some technologies. You and I laughed at this, and car makers put it in, they invested in it. I don't think anyone used it, where you would swing your hand in the air to increase the fan speed of the
Right, the haptic.
or you're making hand signals.
Boy, I hated that.
Nobody used it. Nobody used it.
No, well, it misinterpreted everything.
Yes.
It was just I had a Mercedes that I tried to put on the heat, and it moved my seat back. and I'm yelling at it,
and it's like, that's great. No, now I can't reach the steering wheel. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So what's interesting here is they said new artificial intelligence technologies like smart climate control have won the popularity with those owners who have used them. Of course, yet recognition technologies such as facial recognition, fingerprint reader, and interior gesture controls.
Yeah.
Yes. You look like you're about ready to launch a plane, like spinning your bring that throttle up.
The catapult going.
Yeah. Like you're going to launch a plane off a carrier, not like just sit your air conditioner. But anyway, that stuff did not do well. For example, not only do owners say that the interior gesture controls can be problematic, they included 43.4 problems per 100 vehicles, but 21% of these owners say that this technology lacks functionality, according to newly added diagnostic questions in this year's study. So they don't use it. And why do they put it in there? And why do manufacturers put this stuff in there? They're just sold a bill of goods, I guess, by some suppliers.
Well,
right?
The problem it's like so many other things. You just get you get fixated on coming up with innovation, and you don't ask yourself, well, is this really worth having? How many people will use it? You just throw it out, and you end up with it. And I get personal experience, 600-page owner's manuals, and an additional 140-page owner's manual explaining the features.
And no one reads them. I know you do, but
Well,
most people don't.
That's right.
But
no, most people won't.
Because they don't want to invest that time, like reading a novel, You'll like this one, Les. And this, I would say to Mercedes, hello, Mercedes, listen up. Owners don't see value in passenger screens. Automakers are expanding their offering in vehicles containing a passenger display screen, despite this feature being classified as not necessary by vehicle owners.
Yeah.
The tech is negatively reviewed by many owners who point to usability issues. If it might be viewed more favorably if the front passenger seat was used more frequently, but only 10% of vehicles carry front passengers daily. That's an interesting takeaway, isn't it?
That is, yes.
So maybe we should do away with passenger seats.
Do away with passengers.
Apparently, most people have.
That takes care of the divorce rate.
Yes.
In the U.S. of interest, and I have not seen this on any test vehicles, but we'll have to do a review on my new car because I've just taken it on a very long trip, and and really shaking it out. But one of the things that it has, and I've not seen this before, I may be ignorant, is that on the nav system, if you want to move it en route while you're rolling, a screen comes up and says, do you reject or accept the risk involved in using this while you're rolling? Because it
Right.
assumes there's a passenger doing it. That's terrific because how many thousands of times have we had to pull over to the side?
Absolutely. It says can't use.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that's good thinking.
Okay, well, we'll have some more good thinking from JD Power when we come back. We're also going to take a look at the Denali EV, so stay tuned to Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. We're taking you on a ride this time around the JD Power TXI, their Tech Index study. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. You're on Cruise Control. A lot of takeaways from this. It's funny that a lot of manufacturers are putting things in their cars that people didn't ask for, don't want. It's adding price to the vehicle and, like we were talking about those passenger side screens. I think if you're on your passenger, if the passenger's there, they'll probably be looking at their phone, which is perfectly fine if you're a passenger. But I don't know. We'll have to see if that trend continues. Tesla might be losing its edge, it says. Previously in the study, Tesla owners have expressed enthusiasm for the brand's technology and rated their vehicles highly, often looking overlooking quality concerns. You and I have been trying to
Well,
highlight those.
we're pioneers in that subject.
Trend is
Um,
waning, though. The satisfaction numbers are going down. But
yeah,
highest overall rank in this study was Genesis for innovation. They did
no
very well.
surprise.
584 of a they got 584 points out of a 1,000-point scale. Hyundai ranks the highest among mass market brands, Les Jackson,
There you are.
for the fifth consecutive year with a score of 518. Kia right behind it, 499, and
Hmm.
GMC 439. So
Well, good for GMC. You know that they're ahead of the GM pack.
yeah. Some of the highlights include Toyota Sequoia for its camera rear view mirror technology, the Genesis GV70 for its front cross traffic warning, Kia Carnival for a mass market model for receiving the Emerging Automation Award for its front cross traffic warning, BMW iX, the award for energy and sustainability, BMW X6 for infotainment and connectivity in a premium segment, for phone-based digital key. That's one thing I'm not real big on. I don't need that. I can carry a key fob. And
Yeah,
Hyundai Santa Fe receives the award for infotainment and connectivity in the mass market segment. What's interesting on the study is a lot of these systems are the same systems used in different vehicles. So it's kind of interesting that one gets called out more than the other because they pretty much use the same system in vehicles. If they're all up to date, the
right,
manufacturer uses the same
right.
system in that vehicle. So anyway, but interesting study from J.D. Power. Let's jump over and talk a little bit about the new GMC Denali EV, right? That is something we've been waiting on for a while. It's now going out, the Edition 1. It's beginning the customer deliveries. This is kind of like the Hummer EV, but a little bit more mass appeal, I would say, right?
Um, and a little bit more um, boy racer,
Boy
uh,
racer, okay.
or middle-aged guy racer, because it puts out 754 horsepower total,
Wow.
785 pound-feet, and that makes it, even though it's heavy and big, it makes it really fast.
Yeah. This has the midgate, which I like a lot, which is very
I
much like
do.
the old Chevy Avalanche.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to get around having a shorter bed, which you use most of the time. But if you want to be an active lifestyler, which they showed of active lifestyler
Well,
carrying a kayak, I carry one everywhere I go because
well, same here. The neighbors are getting frustrated with me storing my surfboards outside.
you're not even your surfboards, your stand up paddle boards. That's the hip thing. You got to have a
Well, you're right. You're right.
yeah.
But the fact is, this is it's quite a machine, and it's got tremendous towing capability. By the way, it does do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is
Impressive for
faster
its
than any
weight.
big block Corvette ever did.
And it weighs the weight of probably 8 of them.
About three, at least three of them.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it's just remarkable that all this technology just works.
Yes.
Again, GMC is just really outperforming Chevy by a country mile, whatever that is.
Yeah, and 440 miles of range, which is huge.
It's huge.
Remember, again, if you're going to tow, you'll use that up pretty quickly,
Yeah.
faster than 440. Air ride adaptive suspension, as you mentioned. Wow. So Super Cruise technology, which is available for about 750,000 miles of compatible roads. Grill to gate versatility. GMC first multi-pro mid-gate, as we talked about. E-trunk increases cargo room capability, which is nice. You have your kayak in the back. You can have your other gear up front. 10,000-pound max towing. I would get this over the Hummer myself. It's, as I say, it's very much the same vehicle, but I like the styling a little bit better. It's
Yeah.
more traditional, sort of. It sort of looks like a truck, wouldn't you say?
Well, it does, and it's I just like the GMC name more than I do the Hummer name.
Yeah.
What I don't like, Mr. Staub,
Yes, sir.
is that if I want to use the Super Cruise, I actually have to pay a subscription for it.
Oh, yeah. That kind of
This
takes
is
the edge off
this is
of it, doesn't it?
happening more and more. I'm seeing this in every brand. Something uh, is offered only on subscription.
Little asterisks. Yeah.
Yeah.
$39 per month or whatever it is. And it's interesting that they don't have a buyout for that where, like when you order, let's say there's a lot of things we use to create this show, right? The software and
Right.
music and things like that. And you can buy it month to month or you can buy it for a year and you save significantly if you buy it for a year. You know you're going to use it for a year. Why not say, well, you know what? I'm going to keep this vehicle for 5 years, so I want a 5-year subscription at a significantly reduced cost, right?
Or or how about something the equivalent of an Easy Pass, where when you use it, you pay some fee for
Yeah,
for each use, some
yeah. A per use
rather
basis, a per use
per
basis.
use, right? Because
Yeah,
otherwise, you're paying an awful lot for not using it
right.
most of the time.
And they spun it around like BMW. Like, well, you use your heated seats in the summer, you're going to pay for that. Yeah, but I'm not paying that much for them.
And
And
I already
frankly,
paid.
sometimes I do turn the AC on, put the heated seats on if it gets cold. So anyway, you and I have talked about this a lot. That concept of subscriptions, and our
Yeah,
listeners are like, I don't want to pay more for the car once I paid $45,000
exactly,
for it. I think that
exactly. It
that will
just
be
leaves a bad,
sufficient.
it's a bad taste in your mouth. It just does.
Yeah, yeah, cool. Well, there you have it. But the new GMC looks good, and let's move
Does.
on over to Mercedes. Now, Mercedes, when you look at their GLC, I remember having this vehicle, and it looks pretty traditional as far as a SUV goes, but this is a plug-in hybrid. And the neat thing about this plug-in hybrid is it gets 54 miles of range. It's just tested by
Yeah.
by the EPA. Uh, that's significant, and I think that is one of the biggest things we're going to see in plug-in hybrids. The range will continue to go up. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this GLC and some of the things behind it, and we're also going to talk about the Volkswagen ID Buzz. So stay tuned for that and more on Cruise Control with Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Cruise Control.
Hey, welcome back to Cruise Control. We were talking before the break about the Mercedes GLC plug-in hybrid, 54-mile range on the battery when it's been charged plug-in, which is really handy if you live anywhere near an urban area.
Yeah.
Because that's a day or two of basically free miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the vehicle itself is a good size. I've tested them, and it doesn't feel big. It's roomy inside, but it feels nimble and pretty easy to park
Yeah.
because it's not long past the wheels. Also, it's for a Mercedes. It's really not terribly expensive.
Yeah. I would say that. And also it has combined output. The motor is 134 horsepower. The combined output's 313, which is not bad at all.
Plenty.
Way back when, that would have been considered like, wow, 313
Yeah.
horsepower. But that's not bad at all. 406 pound-feet of torque. Quality piece here. And as you said, as far as Mercedes go, it's not bad. There is a $59,900 trim. That is the standard. The exclusive trim is $61,550, and then the pinnacle trim is $63,500, which features something called a digital light with projections. I don't know what.
I have no idea what that is.
Maybe.
It does have heat and noise insulating glass, which I
Yeah, that's a
do
good
like.
thing. Yeah. I think it's interesting if you look at all of the things, like the exclusive trim has things that I don't know if I would need, like the Burmeister 3D surround system, a parking package with surround view. That's probably the takeaway.
That's nice, yeah.
Something called a Guard 360 with picture taking functionality. I guess if some bozo is looking to damage your vehicle. Enhanced ambient lighting, nice, but
Okay.
illuminated door sills, nice if it has it, but
Yeah, but otherwise, I don't want to pay for it.
yeah, I'm not, it's not like, but really you get a lot in the standard model. You get navigation, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, digital vehicle key, keyless go and start, Parktronic, DC fast charging, mobile flex charging cable, self-leveling system, and center airbag. Probably the base model is pretty good.
The other things, really, you don't need them unless you want it specifically. If you want a big boom box inside the car, then you buy the big sound system.
I'm going to venture a
Um,
guess that that's what is on the dealer's lot, the mid model.
right, right, and heads-up display, which I really like, but I don't think I'd want to spend $3,000 more for it.
No, but 11 finishes, 11 different exterior colors, and 13 different upholstery selections, and 6 wheel designs. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's actually quite a selection.
Yeah, I don't know where this one's built. Is this built in where do they have their?
Chattanooga?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's a pretty nice looking vehicle. I look forward to driving it. I like that 59 miles of range. I'm hoping we see more plug-in hybrids that get more range, and I think you
Yeah.
will. I believe I might be wrong, and a lot of people were wondering about this. There's a Chinese version of the Equinox, Chevy Equinox, that gets almost 100 miles of electric range, and then it becomes a hybrid. And so once you run out of, the battery, you got to balance that too, because maybe 100 miles is it, because the good thing about plug-in hybrids is a lot of times the battery's so small you can charge it with a regular 120-volt plug. As a matter of fact,
Right.
some of them don't even have the high-speed charging.
That's significant because most people only have convenient 120 volt.
Yeah. So in the case of this Mercedes, it does give you the high-speed charging, but I've definitely been in some that don't. They just don't have it. So, but you might want high-speed charging for our next vehicle. Yes, it is making its way to the U.S., and that is the ID Buzz from Volkswagen. I told you I was in Europe the end of last year, and I actually saw an ID Buzz in a parking lot. It was so tightly parked. I don't know how the guy got out of it, but a lot of people have been waiting for this van for years.
Gosh.
And this is all electric. It has a starting MSRP of $59,995 for the Pro S, with an estimated range of 234 for rear-wheel drive models, and for their 4Motion all-wheel drive, 231, which is interesting. three miles,
close.
Yeah, off. You can get the interiors in kind of traditional, kind of luxury look, or the kind of fun white kind of fun look, I guess. Some of them look like high-end minivan interiors. Others look like a kind of a funky VW bus look. Unfortunately, the model you can't get in the U.S. is the delivery van model, which I think is cool, with no windows on the side, and it's just a delivery van. I think that would look cool. I really do, as a two-tone delivery van with some cool logo on the side.
But
Americans
looking like the old 24-window microbus. That's awfully attractive.
That is awfully attractive, yes. Wouldn't you want to, though, have that like the old van and say you could have like a fun logo on the side?
Oh, yeah. I would name it. I would call it Moon Doggy.
Moon Doggy. So then there's the Pro S Plus, and then there's the launch only first edition. I think we only have we have pricing on all of them. No, we don't. We just have pricing. It starts at $59,995 and goes up
but
from there.
The first launch only is $65,495,
Oh, okay, it is. There it is.
and the Pro S is $63,495. Not much difference.
And the launch version in 4Motion all-wheel drive is $70,000.
Well, we're getting up there in price.
Yeah.
But in coolness, it's cheap.
Yeah. So will this make what is virtually a minivan cool again?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think this will bring back it kind of defines youth. It defines playfulness. It defines a whole bunch of things.
Well, does it define it, though, for the current generation that may not remember? I mean, I remember these things running around with the flower power stickers when I was a kid,
Well,
and the rear, and typically the engine compartment latch didn't work, and it would always they'd take off, it would fly up and then fly down.
That's right. But what this does is it gives the newer generations an excuse, gives them an identity that they can kind of go after.
Okay.
Which is what the previous one did.
Well, that might hold next for this vehicle. What about the 60th anniversary Mustang? Looking very good. This is a color that they brought back for the 60th anniversary, and it's the Brittany blue color. And Mustang is all about special editions, and this is a 60-year anniversary one. Gets unique 20-inch wheels, finished in dark gravity gray. They get the classic heritage gauges, which a lot of people could get as an over-the-air update, which I think is very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the new grille with a unique mesh design is a callback to the 1964 original with the pony in the center. Brembo brakes, which is neat, unique badging. All about all about classic and special editions, right?
Well, you're right. And this one, of course, looks very reminiscent of the original Ford Fastback, Mustang Fastback.
Yeah,
Um, everybody loves Mustang. Everybody has a Mustang story.
yeah, yeah. And this particular version of the Mustang is a good looking version, and as you know,
It does look good.
they basically own the V8 rear wheel drive pony car.
Yeah,
They are. That's it.
that's
They
it.
are
They
it.
are. They
Yeah,
are it.
yes. Well, we are it, I guess, if we could do that. When we come back, we're going to go at the wheel for the Elantra N, a very fun, sporty vehicle. Stay tuned.
That's right.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's at the wheel time, Les, and this time we're going to look at the refreshed 2024 Hyundai Elantra N. And this starts life as an Elantra, which is a pretty sporty car, affordable car. But let me tell you, a lot of times when people take a small, affordable car and upgrade it to a performance vehicle, it feels like they kind of put badges on it and wheels and maybe, a few parts here and there. Not with this Elantra N. This feels like the car was built to be this way. It is well detailed, and everything about this, the engineers really went well into it. As a matter of fact, the design of the Elantra itself with this kind of origami style lines on the side, I think works well for this performance vehicle. But they've gone through everything, bracing up the rear chassis, mounting the steering gear on a firmer mounting to give it better feel. They have gone through this thing with a fine-tooth comb and made it a really great handling, sporty vehicle. And that's what I love about it. And for 2024, it gets a redesigned bumper fascia, redesigned dual projected headlights, and redesigned 19-inch forged alloy wheels with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S summer tires, and redesigned bumper fascia and diffuser. So let's talk about this vehicle. This is quite the vehicle. It's an interesting kind of powder blue color, I would say, which is an upcharge. But it's got the spoiler, it's got the exhaust, it's got the black trim, it's got the red trim, and it's a real standout. It really is. This is a performance blue is the color. And that with the red pops and the red calipers and the black wheels is really a nice thing. I tell you, it got a lot of people, like I would just be sitting there at a stoplight and people would pull up and look at it back and forth, and not really know what it was, I would say. But also it has 4-door versatility. It has a trunk. You can easily take it to the grocery store. You can easily take it on a trip. I think Hyundai has done a great job here. They have a spoiler on the back, almost like a ZR1 Corvette spoiler, but it's not gaudy. It's not huge. It's back there. But let's go on the inside. On the inside, you'll notice it's got these kind of racing seats. They're lit. The logo, the N logo, lights up, which I love. There's an Alcantara insert, which is always nice, an upgrade on any performance car. Nice bolstering. Nice stitching, and the interior feels nicely upgraded. Okay, so there is a DCT transmission, which does a good job of the gear changes. There's 2 paddles on the steering wheel. You can change your drive mode with one, and the one on the right, this is one of my favorite things. There's the standard gauge package, but it will turn it into one of the coolest, easy-to-read performance gauge packages. There's also the NGS switch. This will give the engine more horsepower for 20 seconds and change the shifting, and it's designed to put a grin on your face, basically. Nicely integrated Alcantara into the door panel, so nice upgrade there. They haven't forgotten those. Out back, Alcantara seats. Yes, your view is blocked by the big race seats in the front, but hey, so what? You get a nice back seat. You even get a couple of USB-C connectors. Overall, they've done a nice job of upgrading the standard interior. Alcantara everywhere with a nice stitching design in it, the updated seats, the LED lights. All good, all good. Now, out back, you still have a big trunk, which is really great to have. And you'll also notice they've done in the tunnel that goes between where the seats fold down and the trunk, they've added this brace to the car to stiffen up the whole chassis. Once again, they've really gone through this vehicle, and they have really dialed it in. 276 horsepower from the 4-cylinder turbo. Nice job under the hood, making it look really cool. And, this was kind of a beast on the road. You could open the exhaust up and get the little popping back if you wanted to, or you can quiet it down. I just found it fun to drive, and really, it will stop well too. 14.2-inch front and 12.4-inch rear ventilated brake rotors. That 2.0 liter turbocharged 4 gets 276 horsepower, 289 pound-feet of torque. Multi-link independent suspension, 8-speed wet dual clutch DCT transmission with paddle shifters, N corner carving differential, N grin control, that's that red button that we told you about, rack-mounted motor-driven power steering, which they put on a heavier-duty bracket so it feels good, the rear chassis brace, the sport exhaust with variable valve positions. I tell you, they've gone through everything. Quality tires, Michelin Pilot Sport 45 summer tires. You know, they haven't just thrown anything on here. They have done a really good job of detailing this. The air intake on the front is designed to get more air to the brakes. They've insulated the brake lines so they don't fade up front. Isn't that, I mean, I've never seen something so detailed. Normally you get stickers and a louder exhaust, you know, and maybe nice wheels.
The engineers at Hyundai and Kia, they just don't want to produce anything that isn't well thought out.
Exactly. This is a pocket rocket, and it still turns respectable economy. 20 city, 27 highway, 23 for an aggregate number, which is not bad at all. It's not rated safety-wise. Rollover, though, it does get 5 stars, but it's not rated otherwise. And I just find it a fun little car. I really do. I like the looks of it. Are you a fan of the Performance Blue?
I like that blue. That's really a very attractive blue.
It was an upcharge, $470. I like the fact that it's a usable performance car. I like the lighted seats. I've never seen that on a seat. Have you seen a lighted logo on a seat? I thought, well, that's kind of cool. And Alcantara inserts. I mean, that is a nice thing. If you're gonna, it'd be a fun autocross car, don't you think?
It would be. Well, it would just be a fun overall. You know, it's the closest thing or equal to a GTI Golf that
yes,
comes out of Asia.
But it's bigger. Has a bigger back seat. It has a bigger trunk. It would sort of like if they did a little bit higher performance Jetta. It's GLI. Yeah. If they did a more higher performance GLI, that would be good. But the grin button was fun. That was fun to get that little.
Well, of course it is.
Little
and
boost.
It's got to be less expensive than the Germans.
Well, let's talk about that, Mr. Segway. Manufacturer's suggested retail price $35,200. You go for that Performance Blue.
Yep.
They call it the XFB paint, $470. Inland freight and handling, which is $1,150. Total in $36,820 for some fun.
That's better than GTI.
Yeah, and as
better
I say,
than Mini.
Yeah, I think it's a fun car. I really do. I love that attention to detail, and I'm glad they call it out in all their material, because things like, you know, how you mount the steering gear makes a difference. These are performance things. Like, that's what people do to make their cars more fun, you know. And I just think it would be fun to take to the autocross. You could even track this thing, and it would be good fun. And you know, it does come with everything else: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all the well-equipped features that you normally get in that type of car, the Elantra. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
I'm Les Jackson.
We are going to see you down the road.